Hello everyone and welcome to another plush making video. Today I'm making a Blumaroo from Neopets. Now do you remember Neopets? I feel like it's pretty nostalgic, but for some people they're like, what is that? I've never heard of it. But if you do remember it, yeah, it was a pretty fun site. You could have your own pet and play a bunch of games and do all kinds of stuff. But one of the pets you could make was a Blumaroo, and there was even a whole Blumaroo island in the Neopets world, and it was very cute. The front legs are easy because they just align with the dents on the front of the body. And the tail does have a gusset, so you'll just have to follow where the little notch is right there, and attach the point from the notch to the edge. So yeah, pretty much just going to be making this Blumaroo plushie. And if you would like the sewing pattern, I'm going to have that link down below so you can check that out. And you'll be aligning the tail with the back of the body. There's this big circle on the back here. And just make sure that the tail is facing the correct direction when you do. Make sure it's facing up. And when you attach the back of the legs to the back of the body, you'll have to just go by the two notches that are on the back legs. And I sewed the arms together and gonna be stuffing those. And let me know in the comments, did you have a Blumaroo as a pet? And do you still have a Blumaroo? Do you still play Neopets? Because I do. I kind of was going off and on of the site for a while. Like I'd stop playing and then I'd come back and play Key Quest or Habitarium or something. And you know, they don't have those anymore, but those were always fun. And the arms are sewn in between the seams of the two body pieces. Yeah, so I'm just attaching the two body pieces together, making sure that everything is lined up properly. Each seam is aligned with the other. And for the feet, I just cut out a little pink paw pad and I do some applique. So what you can do is actually get some embroidery stabilizer and put that just underneath the two layers. And then that will just make it easier to sew on your machine because you can do a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. And then you'll have the two little feet with little heart-shaped paw pads. Isn't that so cute? And then getting the paw pads on the foot is a little bit tricky. Just I line up the top with the middle of the little heart shape first, and then I'll just hand stitch that, and then the rest of it I'll just go all around with my sewing machine. But in the end you get this little divot on the top of the foot, and it's sort of like, you know, cute little heart shape. And now I've stuffed the body, and I'm going to move on to doing the head. We've got some color blocking going on here, so you just sew the pink to the orange with the right sides together. And the ears do have a bit of a curve, so you might have to stretch a little bit the orange part to fit. But then you can just sew the ears together. Turn right side out. And then for the face, going to sew this dart together. There's also a dart on the nose. And the nose is also color blocked, so you'll want to sew that together. Now for this one, I'm going to use a safety eye. I believe this one is 18 millimeters. And I did also do a Blumaroo with an embroidered eye, but I just feel like the big black safety eye is more reminiscent of the Blumaroo, especially when you look at like the old artwork too. But yeah, I think the current art of the Blumaroo also has just a big round eye. So I think that's a lot cuter, is having the safety eye there. And for the little eyebrow and the mouth, I am using embroidery floss. I just threaded that into my needle like a normal thread, and I'll just use that to create the details. So like the mouth, pretty much just do one long stitch, and then I'll go back a little bit, sort of backtrack into the previous stitch, just so there's no like gaps between the black. And that's how I create the mouth. And it's actually kind of funny I'm doing this like orange Blumaroo, because it makes me think of that game on Neopets. It's called Deadly Dice. Have you ever played that one? That's like gambling for children, right? Except I'm pretty sure everyone who plays the site is probably in their 30s now, so... And this is the back of the head. I've already sewn it together, but it will be attached to the front of the head. But first, I'll place the ears in between the seam. Now, you can do the ears in between the seam, or you can also sew the ears on afterwards. If you sew the ears afterwards, it might be just a bit easier to get them to stay standing up, because for this I had to put some, like a lot of stuffing in the ears, and yeah. Attaching the head to the body, to the neck, with a ladder stitch. I pretty much always do this just because I have more control over the position of the head. But you can also sew it onto the body while everything is turned inside out. I also put a little tuft little 2 hairs on his head with embroidery floss. But for the ears, I pretty much just folded it over a little bit to where I liked it, and then sewed it in place with a ladder stitch. So you get that little bend to the ear like they have. For the arms, I'm also using some thread sculpting to make some little fingers. And you pretty much just, put your needle in and come out the other side and tug a little bit. You can just tug gently, and that will make a little finger, a little indent in the plush. And there's the 2 little tufts of hair. But there he is! My Blumaroo is finished! In all his orange glory. And yeah, Blumaroo, I guess, is like a kangaroo, right? So, there he is. He's so cute. And also did a blue one. As you can see, that one has the embroidered eye. So that's my Blumaroo, and like I said, you can get the pattern on my website, or I'll link it below. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.